Hi guys. Let's see. Is this gonna go live? Okay, we're up. Okay. So today's training, we're gonna focus on needs. How do they get met? And this relates to Melissa's post yesterday about needs, because a lot of times codependency, we are dependent on the other person for regulating our needs, just in a very similar way that they're dependent on us, or they rely on us to regulate their feelings. And this really comes from the experience of unmatured attachment. Okay? So in yesterday's training, I discussed a bit about how attachment is functioning in the background when it comes to needs and when it comes to abandonment. So every need has three essential things that it requires in order to start feeling fulfilled, to feel connected, to feel like it belongs. And those three things are pretty simple. It's an acronym. It's ACR: attention, reception, or it's actually ARC, but you could go the other way if you want. But it's attention, reception, and connection. It needs to be acknowledged. So attention and acknowledged can be swapped out there, but it needs to be paid attention to. Hey, yeah, this is alive. This is real. It's valid. It matters. Okay. Reception means I'm willing to receive it. They're willing to receive it. When we deny a need, either internally or in a relationship with someone else, then it gets stuck. And that's where shame, guilt, fear, all that start to step in and sabotage our ability to grow. We don't feel like we matter. We don't feel like we're valid, those kind of things. So we have to break out of that by receiving the need. Rather than judging it or assuming that it's selfish or wrong, we want to receive it. Now, when we're in a relationship with another individual and they bring us a need, we need to receive it. That doesn't mean absorb it. That doesn't mean take responsibility for its fulfillment. That means acknowledging, like, yep, this is valid. This is something you're dealing with. Now, if we want to share a need with another individual, we do the same thing, but we have to be willing to share it. We don't give them responsibility for fulfilling it. Okay. Adult relationships understand that, hey, this is my need. It's in my hands to get it fulfilled or not. I'm willing to live with its lack of fulfillment if the relationship isn't capable of fulfilling it, or it's one of those, like a sexual need, for instance. Sometimes if you're in a monogamous relationship and sex isn't going to happen, you're going to have to live without it until the other person's available for that kind of thing. So sometimes we have to tolerate the lack of our need not being met. But generally, most needs can be met within our social network. Okay, so primary person first, primary relationship, then our secondary relationships, best friends, family, things like that. But we got to be willing to ask for that need to be met. And who we ask that need from matters, because some people don't know how to meet the need. They don't want to meet the need. And we discover that by our experience with them. So when we are getting to know people or developing these relationships with them, we want to be very specific about understanding what they can and can't reciprocate to us. Because if they can't reciprocate the need, why ask? Why put yourself out there for that rejection? Instead, choose someone who wants to reciprocate and has done it in the past in a way that makes sense to you, a way that speaks to you, and a way that speaks to them. Because need fulfillment's interesting because it's a currency. I don't mean this in a transactional way, like I give you my need and you give me my need and we're fulfilled. It's more like, why do you get into a relationship with anybody? Whether it's a friend or a business or a romantic relationship, it's because you like the experience you have with them. And they are providing something to your life, you're providing something to theirs, right? So needs and wants are a currency. It's a way in which we learn how to relate and contribute and receive from others. So our job isn't to just give our needs or wants to just anybody. It's to find people of high quality compatibility and share those needs and wants with them, and then they'll gladly reciprocate it because that fulfills a need in them or a want in them to connect with you. Okay? And then vice versa. So needs are very, very valuable. So what you got to remember here is that all needs for fulfillment require attention, reception, you've got to acknowledge it, and then connection. okay? Which means we want to be present with it, acknowledge it. Because connection is fundamentally what fulfills emotional needs. Now, if we have a physical need, then there's typically a physical action that needs to show up with that, okay? So, like for instance, if you're hungry, then you got to do the hungry thing. Or if you want to play, you got to do the play thing, whatever it might be. But what I want you to understand here is connection is where needs actually get fulfilled. When we feel like someone else cares about the need, when we feel like we care about our need. Because we've got to do this in two ways. Okay, we have our internal connection, our attention, reception, and connection there. And then we have the interpersonal attention, reception, connection experience. So that way we're able to reliably meet our own needs. Especially if there isn't somebody there, like we're lonely. Well, let's reach out. Let's connect with that. Let's understand that. Connect with your loneliness. Bring comfort into it. Do something that would bring a little more fulfillment. Go out or read a book. A little gratitude tends to also comfort loneliness. And it's also a signal that, hey, I would like a friendship or I would like a relationship. But caveat, a little star on this. Don't get into a relationship when you're lonely. Get into a relationship when you want to contribute to someone else's life and when you would like someone to contribute to yours, when you're really interested in having that adventure. Okay? So internally, when we need to meet our own needs, and there's some needs that we need to meet like attention, safety, validation, value is a big one, then we pay attention to it. We validate it. We acknowledge and praise and appreciate the need. That's a form of connection. That's a form of reception and attention all in one. It's like, hey, yeah, my needs matter too. You matter too. And then up here, visually, we want to experience ourselves, seeing the need or the part of ourselves with the need and connect with them too. Because a visualization in needs allows us to have an interconnected experience within ourselves and going, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm real. This need is cool. Okay. Because not all needs are reliant on other people to fulfill them. Sometimes we have a need for safety. Why not internalize our power for safety, right? And then build out relationships that reflect that safety too. Like, I'm responsible for my physical and emotional safety, so I want to be safe in who I am. So that means I need to praise and appreciate who I am. Get comfortable with my nature, with my beingness. And then I can build out an external experience that reflects that safety back to me because I'm choosing people, places, and things that find me safe too, that treat me in safe ways. So instead of me going and looking for someone else to make me feel safe, I'm finding people who naturally reciprocate or feed the already internalized experience of safety that I have. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, let me know in the comments. Okay? So that's a really good example of how we meet most of our needs. Now, again, there are obviously needs that require relationship. Play is one of those. Social connection, even full understanding of sexuality or even spirituality require that interchange, but they're not completely dependent on it. There are things we can do within ourselves to manage those needs until we are in a relationship that is safe, that is fulfilling, that really shows up for us. So if you want more experience with this, if you want to get more training in this, the Addiction to Connection course in the Codependency to Confidence membership goes very deep into nurturing our needs. And it uses a 3-step process that starts with internal nurture, then moves to what's called self-reference, and then finally interpersonal nurture, where we're learning how to ask and receive our needs with healthy, viable people. So your needs can be met. Beware of islandism. Because codependency has this really interesting opposite called counterdependency, and that's where we're ultra independent. We're an island and nobody can get to us. Be careful of that. That's the swing from being highly enmeshed to highly independent. We got to get back to the middle. And the middle is all about interdependency, where I have safe people, safe relationships in which I can ask a need or want with, and they'll be glad to reciprocate most of the time. It's the other thing we want to keep in mind here. Most of the time. 8 out of 10 times is most of the time. And that's pretty reasonable expectation in most relationships that are highly connected. You have a high level of intimacy. Okay? So, okay, thank you, Sonia. Thank you. I'm always welcoming comments, guys, feedback, likes, hearts, whatevers. Helps me know if I'm getting this out right, making it clear for you. So, that's what I want you to think about today when you're looking at your needs. And are you being counter-dependent? Are you trying to meet it all by yourself when there are actually viable, safe people in your life that you could talk to, you could lean on a bit, you could connect with, you could get some attention from, some reciprocation, reception from, and a little connection with, so that need is at least seen and heard and validated? I'll give you an example. I mean, today's the 26th. We're like 2 weeks out from my mother's 30th anniversary. She died 30 years ago on the 9th of April. And there's a lot of unmet needs that come up with this every year for 30 years. That's what grief does. It's something we walk with. It's something we live with. Hey, Missy. Yeah, if you got counterdependence, now you're ready to swing into the middle. And that really comes into value. Really, it's about value and safety and a belief in the abundance of people who would want to meet your needs because they care about who you are. So I've got some grief coming up because of this anniversary that's showing up for me. And so I reached out to a friend and I was talking with her about it. And just the fact that she took the time to appreciate it. Because there's no way the particular need I have for a mom isn't going to really be fulfilled again in my life. But the fact that someone cares about the need and it cares about the loss brings comfort to it. And that's how we regulate grief. And it's also how we can regulate unmet needs that require particular kinds of relationships to exist for them to be fulfilled, is by sharing them, letting them be seen so that they can have the attention. We can have that reception, and that there can be a connection of at least honor and presence with that need. This is how we self-care. I'm not a big fan of the word coping because it means being stuck to me. It's not a word, but this is how we nurture ourselves through prolonged or rather sometimes permanent situations that we get to, thank you, Missy, that we get to live with because of the dynamics in life. We've all lost a lot in our journey out of codependency, and so we all carry a grief. When we share that grief and we understand it, thank you, Sonia. And I feel that, guys. I really do. I feel your attention and your care. And I thank you for holding a little space for me. So even now you're doing it for me. Thank you. And that means a need in me. Because it's life, right? So here we are. Thank you for acknowledging it. Thank you for giving me attention, for receiving it, and for this connection. Thank you for putting this into action for me. I appreciate you guys. It's humbling, so thank you. But this is how we do it. This is what it is. This is how we meet needs. We let people see us. We let people care. I mean, I only know Missy from the group. I know Sonia pretty well. And you're showing up. Thank you. We let people see us because our needs, our feelings, our struggles, our hopes, our dreams, our accomplishments really matter. And we deserve to brag, and we deserve to be needy and to kind of like, hey, I could use some of this right now. But not in a, hey, do this for me. It's more like, share. Because that's what people are looking for. Is they want an opportunity to consent to give. That's all. That's really all we're looking for. So when it comes to your needs, honor them. Give them space. Give them the respect they deserve. Connect with them. They are worth it. they matter too. In fact, if we want to kind of twist my little saying, your words are worth knowing, loving, and keeping. Okay? So thank you guys for being here, and thank you again, both of you. And thank you, Melissa. And also, if you're a member of Codependency Confidence, definitely check out the Addiction to Connection and the Nurture process. We're going to be doing some updates to the Nurture process in the next couple months, along with Calm, actually. I'm looking at setting up a live course or a live mentorship for trauma healing. So if you want more information on that, what you need to do is you need to go to getclosure.freetheself.com and join that group, because it's not, I'm going to reference it a little bit here in this group, but it is a completely separate topic, a separate focus. So you want to be over there in that group, and I'll post the link here in a moment. But thank you again, guys, for showing up for me. Now it's time to show up for you. Identify in your life someone you can share your need with, even if it's just people in this group. Bring it out. Let it be seen. So it gets the attention, it gets the reception, and it gets the connection it deserves, because you deserve it. And then, there you go. You can have your needs filled with in safe ways, so you don't get absorbed and you don't have to absorb somebody, right? You don't get smothered and you don't have to give yourself up, because your needs are worth it, because you are worth it. Okay. So I will see you guys tomorrow on tomorrow's live training. I'm not sure what it will be about, but we'll find out. And again, thank you for showing up for me. And you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.